It's a mystical world out there, and today we're going to be talking about what proof would be needed for Bigfoot's existence. So, first off, I just want to say that I'm not here to discredit or put down anyone's story or say this person's story is true and that person's story is fake. It's really not like that. I just want to say that everyone's experience is their own experience, and I'm not saying that one is real or fake. I'm just saying which ones I feel might be real or fake or not exactly as it's portrayed, but that doesn't mean anything. Everyone is here to make their own opinions. And so yeah, that's really what I want to say. And yes, podcasts are a form of entertainment, but they can also be therapeutic and there's just some serious topics here. Some of this stuff is very life-changing life-changing things that happen to people, and it can even alter the course of your life. So I just want to say that just because someone he saw an alien with five eyes doesn't mean the person that saw the alien with two eyes is lying. It's everyone has their different opinions and stuff like that. And I'm just not here to mock or make fun of anyone's experience is basically what I mean to say about that. So it's no judgment, no judgment zone. But with that being said, let me get into the topic. So in my last episode, I was talking about, Bigfoot being taxidermied and stuff. And I mean to say in that, and I'm just saying now, is just, I feel like that's disrespectful. I really do. I think it is. And I don't think if that is true, and if somebody is taxidermying Bigfoot, who knows, it could be a business. I mean, if it is, I'm sure they've only, had a very few clients, maybe that man that uh, uh, Big Homie was talking about was the only person in the world. There's a very good chance that that could be the case. It is absolutely astounding and mind-blowing to think that maybe there are, maybe a museum that we don't know about somewhere in the world that has these things. Not just Bigfoot, but Dogman and all the other cryptids. Maybe they're somewhere underground where they're being kept alive. We just don't know. My opinion, and this is just my opinion, take it with a grain of salt, but I think that they're shapeshifters. I think that they're all related somehow, and I think that they have the ability to just cloak, I guess you could say. They can go in and out of existence, but at the same time, they are very physical. So my encounter that I had, it was a very physical thing. I saw hair, I saw, it moved like, anything would. It was moving in the water. I mean, granted, the way that it moved is pretty fluid, as a lot of Bigfoot encounters say. There's just a fluid movement to them. But otherwise, this thing, it made crashing noises in the woods. It was fall when I saw it. It was just leaves everywhere, and it made a sound like a truck driving through the woods. I mean, it was so loud. It sounded like a car moving through the woods. I can't even, or a truck or something, like some big vehicle moving through the leaves. And so this thing is very physical. So how they are in it, able to go in and out of dimensions is just really, really something. It's really something to think about. And why, how on earth could someone have this thing, in physically. And they say that, it's hard to find the bones, which I agree. But bones disintegrate pretty quickly in the woods. You know, it's not very, it's not super common to see bones in the woods because they just get, they kind of, what is the word? I don't want, why do I want to say disintegrate? They go into the ground, you know what I mean? I cannot think of the word for the life of me, but they just go back into the earth essentially. Animals eat them, and So, you know, the fact that we haven't found the bones, what if someone did find the bones? I don't know. How are they going to prove that? That's going to be a whole thing, you know, but basically what I'm getting at, I'm going a little off topic here, but Bigfoot are a people to me. It was a, and I think that it's disrespectful to do something like that. I think, I don't think that they're, necessarily, like, they're not a race of people. They're a species, like different species, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm not a biologist or anything, but I want to say that they're like a whole different species, sort of like in the same way, like we're a domestic house cat and the Bigfoot are like a tigers. That's exactly how I see it. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. There's been um, um, some scientists who have studied the DNA, and they haven't been able to like definitively trace it to humans. That's a whole other topic I can get into. But I do think that there are, a species of human, and when we're talking about, you know, how this sort of thing, it just makes you think how hard it was for humans to deal with race. How hard is it for the average person to just deal with race? We're still, we have so much stuff still going on there. We're, with racism and all that stuff is still going on to this day. And I mean, if we can't even handle that, how are we supposed to be able to handle a whole other species of human? That Bigfoot, whatever was stuffed, taxidermied, I mean, it had a family. These things are known to have strong family ties. They speak, they're known to have a language. They have traditions, I'm sure. They have children, of course. They have family members to take care of. This one in particular, this taxidermy Bigfoot was a male. And, I'm not sure. By the way he described this Bigfoot, it was a male. The males protect the family. So you're taking a protector of a tribe, potentially out, just so now you have a whole Bigfoot family that are left without the protector. And I guess, you know, there's no real way to prove it, right? There's no, if you're just showing people, I'm sure, no one's going to get mad. Let's just say, we'll call him Big Brother or whatever. I don't think they're going to get mad because if somebody did, just like this man, he went into this game room and saw the trophy room, whatever, and he saw this Bigfoot, how is he, unless you get, he takes part of this creature home and brings it for people to study. There's no way, this is the same thing as if they would have take this Bigfoot taxidermy, okay, put it on something and in a truck or something and go make a circus, go around town saying, here, it's Bigfoot, like they used to do back in, I should do a whole episode on that, just back in the day when they used to have, I believe it was Minnesota, the Minnesota Iceman. Um, it's probably something else, it's Michigan or something, but there was an Iceman and they went around the country claiming it was a Bigfoot or a Yeti or something. And it did turn out to be false, I'm pretty sure. I need to get back on that. Hang on. Okay, so yes, the Minnesota Iceman was a famous sideshow hoax. It was a hoax from the 60s to the 70s. I mean, a hoax that we know of. It was a hairy 8-man figure. It was encased in ice, so he kept him in ice. And um, his promoter, Frank Hansen, claimed it was a prehistoric creature, but it later turned out to be a latex model. So, yeah, so say if somebody did have something real, I mean, how are people going to prove it unless there's some scientific something proof? People aren't going to believe it. People say, kill them all, find the body, or show the body. It's going to be the only way they're proof they're going to be real. I just don't believe that. I don't know if you can have the real thing and go around all the towns and the cities and say, hey, we're going around, we're showing you Bigfoot, it's real, here's the real body. I don't think that's going to go well because people are still going to question it. They can make anything these days look super hyper realistic, like Halloween costumes, masks, any type of thing you want, you could create. And it's there's wax figures, no one's going to believe, you could maybe back in way in the old days, if you went and carried around some kind of realistic Bigfoot, maybe then people would believe you. But these days, it's really hard. And that's not even getting started on the whole AI thing. I mean, you can have the most realistic, actual picture, clear photo of Bigfoot, and people are just going to say it's AI. There's just no way to, there's no way to prove it unless it is actually real. You're having a living, breathing creature in front of you that moves and talks and walks and everything. And even then, some people, I'm sure, would be like, oh, it's just a robot. Especially once we get robots going. Can you imagine? So, I think by the time that they are ready to confirm to the people and let them know, hey, this exists, it's going to be so crazy with robots and AI and everything. We're not going to know what's real or not real by that time. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, when I was a kid, if I knew that this all was going to be the future, I would tell you no. There's no way. There's never going to be an AI thing that can create me a video or a song or something funny or make my cat dance. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. I would believe that when I was a kid. So it's just crazy how different things are from when I was growing up. And granted, I was born in the 90s, so not super long ago. And I think I hoped I wasn't too confusing in the last episode. What I mean to say that, like, there's a lot of people and we're very populated and things like that. I mean to say that, like, and like the Bigfoot aren't. I'm just saying that, and if they're not interdimensional or anything, then I think that they may have a population similar to gorillas. That's just my opinion. Maybe there's more of them. I don't know. It's really hard to say. But say that there's, all right, let's just make a number. I think, let me see. Oh, wow. So I am so sorry. In the last episode, I got the numbers way wrong. I'm not sure what there's some monkey, I think, that was in the 500s, but there's an estimated that 316,000 Western gorillas and around 5,000 Eastern gorillas are left in the world. Oh, okay. Here's what I was thinking. The Cross River gorillas are the rarest. There's only 300 of them left, with the Eastern lowland gorillas number about 5,000. Sorry, and the mountains are around 1,000. So they all are facing critical threats from habitat loss and poaching, and they are considered critically endangered. So I'm just going to put it out there. Maybe there's as many Bigfoot as gorillas. Maybe let's just say that. And they're all over the world. But let's just say that there's maybe 1 million. I don't know. Even then, and if, you say that there's something like that in the woods, there's going to be people who are going to be grabbing their guns and they're going to be going out and they're going to be like, all right, I want to get me a trophy. There's going to be people like that out there. And And you know that they're not going to care if they hunt them to extinction. You know, we're just that type of species, and it is what it is. Like, there's species out there who have made other species go extinct, and we aren't the only ones that make things go extinct. That's just what happens. But we're really good at it. We're really good at killing as a species, and that's why we're number one. At least that's what we think. But if you see this thing, okay, and I have seen it, it is the tiger. It makes you look at that as if that's the tiger and you're the house cat. It really does. They are magnificent, majestic creatures that are highly intelligent from what we can gather from our encounters. They are definitely strange. They have animal qualities to them, and they can live in the woods. They're not like us. They're not super needy. They are hardy. They can withstand a lot. It's so it seems. A lot of the time, these look very healthy in the woods. There's not a whole lot of encounters of them looking mangy or anything like that. You know, these things can live and survive in the woods, and it's incredible. It's just like monkeys and gorillas. You know, they can live in the woods in the way that we just can't. Some of us can, I guess, if we're accustomed to it, but that's a whole other topic in itself. So they're just majestic creatures. They're wonderful, and I would hate to see them go to be extinct. And that's just my opinion. There's some people out there who have had horrific experiences with them. There's good and bad of everything. There's good aliens, there's bad aliens, there's good Bigfoot, bad Bigfoot. I mean, there's angels, demons. That's just the kind of universe that we're in. And it's just good and bad, good and evil. And, there are going to be some that do a lot of damage, hurt your livestock, hurt your family, make people missing and go disappear. But majority of the time, they're kind, or they're just like the one that I saw. Seemed more afraid than anything, and it just wanted to be left alone. And I just don't think that they deserve to go extinct. And personally, I think that they are so connected with the aliens that I think it would really piss them off. I really do. And I think that is not something where you want to mess around and find out. I don't. I think it's bad energy to kill them. I do. I think it's bad energy to disrespect them. It's gonna haunt you, I think. I really do. And that's just my opinion. And, and so the only way that I think that there's going to be proof of them existing is if they were, let's just say, real, okay, like live, living, breathing, not shot, not killed, nothing like that, but a living, breathing, let's just say a family, because you don't want to take one from its family. Maybe we make friends with one family, okay? We establish a relationship with a Bigfoot tribe, a Bigfoot family. There's respect there. And then we decide to make it a huge event where you just go from place to place, and like a Bigfoot meet and greet, I guess you could say, and take them around the country and have people meet them face to face. Would they like that? I don't think so. I don't think they would like that. I think that would be overwhelming. Knowing how they are, I think they're sensitive beings. I don't think it would be good, and I think that it would probably be mishandled. I don't know. I mean, they would have to be treated with the utmost respect. Now, the reason why I think that would never, ever happen is because of who that would benefit, okay? Would that cause so many issues that it would just completely change everything versus, okay, now we know about him, you can warn people of him, so less people go missing in the woods and the national parks and things like that, versus the whole society being flipped upside down on its head. And I think that's why, is because who is it really going to benefit? And it's going to benefit the system for not saying it, versus going out there and saying, hey, yes, these things exist. So, yeah, I mean, you have, people go miss a couple, I'm not saying it's a small number. A lot of people who have gone missing and been hurt by them. And I know there's hunters that get spooked out of the woods, all sorts of things, but you really compare that to society being flipped over, and this is just my opinion. So you got to think, like, these are another species of human, in my opinion, and say if that's true, say if they are another species of human, and they do get discovered, and they are shown to the public, and they are accepted as a people. These people, they don't need a hunting and fishing license. They don't need a number tagged at their birth, no social security number, nothing like that. They don't need an address, don't need a driver's license, don't need an ID or a passport. They don't have to, they could go anywhere all over the world, don't need a visa or anything like that. They don't, they'll never have to go to prison for anything that they do. They don't have to obey the laws, and they can just go anywhere as they please. Their children don't need to go to public school, nothing like that. And so they are not going to comply, and I don't think they should. I think they should be able to live the way that they want to live as another species of human. But I just cannot see for the life of me how the system, people in our society would be able to sit with that very long. I mean, maybe for a few months, be like, okay, there would be this excitement and it would be fine. Maybe some people would be talking about it. Some people would be scared. It is kind of scary to some people. I mean, it is, because it's so new. It's so out of the norm, and it makes you wonder, well, what else is, if that's out there, what else is out there? So I can see why it would scare some people, but I think there would come a time where a lot of people would get very angry. And I think there would be a lot of resentment for them after a year, not even, probably. They'd be like, well, why, if they're people and they have language and all this stuff, why do they get free run of the land just because they can handle the land better, because they're bigger and stronger, whatever? Why don't they have to follow our laws and our rules and things like that? So I think that is going to be the biggest issue. I mean, really think about it. And it's that what mixed in with, if they are even, and this is all just talking about this as if they're just a gorilla, as if they're just a flesh and blood creature. This is not adding in if they are, part of the extraterrestrial, sorry. If they are something else in nature, we don't know. And, yeah. I don't know. It just blows my mind thinking about this stuff, and, that's really all I have to say on this subject for right now. And I could go on and on about it, but anyway, I think I'm going to stop it here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Stay mystical. See you next time.